All right, how about this one, Shane? Number 15, Ole Miss on the road at Texas A&M. The Rebels on the road, Shane, favored by 2. The over-under's 55 points. Game kicks off at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on the SEC Network. Last season, Ole Miss won 29-19, but A&M, they hold the all-time record, 9-4, with a couple vacated wins there during the Hugh Freeze era. But hey, did you see this, Shane? It's going viral. $2 tickets for the Texas A&M game. Even Lane Kiffin trolling the Aggies with this one. The only problem, Shane, is made up. It's not true. They even got me on there. So, hey, credit to that whoever the hell was putting that out there. I looked it up, Shane. The real tickets they're like $120 in those nosebleeds.
Oh, yeah.
So a little bit different than $2. I mean, by God, they'd be running Jimbo out of there if the tickets were going for $2 down there in College Station. But I say all that to say this, Shane. Who's going to win the ball game?
Oh, brother. I've been hinting at this one all week, and I hate to go back a game that we just discussed, but the more I talked about the Georgia, the more confident I got in it, and I was like, when Mike gets done here, I'm going to lock this one down. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to say, oh, by the way, that's my wager of the week, but then you went wager of the week. So then I was like, well, we know how those usually play out, so I'm not doing that. So I'm reeling it back in and introducing the original wager of the week, the one I told you earlier in the week, brother, because I'm not going to lie. This one, it feels teed up. It feels almost too nice. It really does. It almost feels we got Texas A&M coming off yet another defeat. We got players getting, fired or removed from the team. We got players quitting. We got, linemen getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect storm. We got $2 tickets down there. They're probably not even going to do the midnight call. They may just, do a group text that night or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just Texas the wheels have fell off, and they are the laughing stock of the SEC this year. And it's all led by Jimbo Fisher. That's not going to change anything this week. He's going to come out with the same damn playbook and the same excuses at the end if they lose this thing. Yeah. It's a game of inches. Whatever, Jimbo. We know how college football works, and unfortunately, your archaic offense is not working, and I don't see it changing. Did they hire a new offensive coordinator? Did he relinquish any of those duties? Absolutely not. So, again, why do we expect it to be any different? And I feel bad because I love Aggie fans. In fact, they're probably the nicest fans out there. It's like you could say something really mean about their university, and for the most part, some of them are like, yeah, I respect your decision, or I respect your opinion. And not all teams do that. But there's a handful that still hate Mike, and I understand that too.
Oh, more than a handful.
So then you go on the other side of the ball. We got Lane Kiffin coming off a terrible defeat last week against LSU, and it feels like, this team got exposed a little bit. And one thing that I've learned from Lane Kiffin is, not only is he good at second half adjustments, but he's good at game to game adjustments. And I think there's enough tape on there to show these guys that, hey man, we thought we were there and we're not. We still got an uphill battle, but we can win this thing. We still control our own destiny. I know that's a saying that we like to use on this show a lot, but it's true. Ole Miss still has an opportunity to get into that SEC championship, and they got to do it with Dart, man. They've got to do it with some quarterback play, some downfield passing, and I think that's something that Texas A&M has really struggled here of late. And that's, it's almost like they had the cracks in the dam, and it's starting to break a little bit. And that's what I'm starting to feel, because the defense was the only thing keeping the A&M Aggies into these games, and I feel like we're starting to lose it a little bit, not to mention with everything else. So, a lot of noise, a lot of news down there. And hell, Jimbo may get fired after this one. But I've got Ole Miss winning this game by 2 scores. 28. A&M struggles to get 14. Wager of the week.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those is like a special teams touchdown. I just have no confidence in Aggie offense right now. I don't. And how could you? How really? I mean, seriously, what have you seen on tape that just says, you know what, they're this close? I mean, I thought Alabama. I thought that was like a wake-up call, and I predicted them going undefeated. I saw your boy, Brandon Walker. He came out and he said they're winning out. Don't do it because they will hurt you. Aggies have hurt me. They took too much of my money. I'm not putting any more money on them.
Well, how about this, Shay? You say there's nothing to like. Devon Achane leads the SEC in all-purpose yards, 156 yards per game all-purpose. Texas A&M, they have not played a home game in 6 weeks, so maybe they just need a little home cooking down there, Shane. Ole Miss, though, leads the country with 56 plays of 20 or more yards, so a very explosive offense, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but you know, the biggest question I got for this one, Shane, Ole Miss coming off that loss, did they get exposed? That's a popular topic in the SEC. Well, this is a team that just feasted on the early schedule. Now they're getting into the grinder of this SEC West. They played 8 in a row. I mean, there's a lot lining up for Texas A&M in terms of where Ole Miss is in their season and kind of limping into this one. Still don't know if Zach Evans is going to play in this ball game. That could be huge because I think Ole Miss' path to victory is to run that ball, which we know they can do. They do it better than anybody in the SEC. But, man, I just look at that Aggie offense, Shane, and, I mean, it's hard to argue with you. I mean, Bryce Foster, their center, out for the season. He's the reason, not the reason, a big reason they lost to Appalachian is because he was not in the lineup. He was not healthy to go. And he made a huge difference for this Aggie offensive line when he was in there. Missed him last week, and again, it was just horrendous. Several linemen out. They're getting quarterbacks killed. You know, even if Jimbo wanted to go to Connor Wigman, Shane, I don't know how you can do it because they're likely to get him killed back here. So, yeah, I mean, I like a lot of what you had to say. A&M's offense is just so pitiful that even Ole Miss's defense, which is basically is pitiful, Shane, but I don't still got confidence in Jimbo and company. We have seen Ole Miss win a couple games with their defense. I'm thinking of the Kentucky game, Shane. Remember that? Number 1 overall pick in the NFL, held them to 19 points. If they held that to 19, Kentucky with Chris Rodriguez to 19, certainly they can do that to Texas A&M. So I'm right there with you, Shane. It's not my wager because there may be some validity to calling Ole Miss a fraud, and the 8 games, they may be a little wary, but I do have it as a 10-point ball game, Shane. I'm going Ole Miss 33, Texas A&M 23, and even 23 may be a little generous for them Aggies. You know what?
I'm going to tell you, man, I really wanted to lock this one up early. Remember I told you I was going to put the mortgage on this thing, but I really see and maybe that's what it is. It's just something about A&M. You know they can be better. Yeah. You know, it's like I know that, you know, they asked Jimbo early in the week if there was anything he would change, and his quick response was no. And I'm like, really? There's absolutely nothing you would change. You would just keep, and that's how bullheaded he is sometimes. And that's why I just think he can't get out of his own way. And it's tough for me to put money on there because I'm the same way. I'm bullheaded, you know. I keep convincing myself, probably just like Jimbo. He's like, I know this team can do better. If I just keep doing this, eventually it'll work. And it's just not. So as soon as I bet against them, because I've always betted with them, all right, Aggies, I've always been on your side. You're probably going to win this week, and Ole Miss is going to lose another one. So I don't know.
All you did last week was trash Ole Miss for a whole week. You know what?
I know. It's like, which team do I like the least in this game now? No, I'm just kidding. I think there's part of me that I think Ole Miss, you know, they still got a lot to prove. And, you know, dropping that LSU game, it was an eye-opener for the fans. It was an eye-opener for the players. And how do they rebound? And I'm sold. I'm convinced that this is going to come down to coaching, and I still think Lane Kiffin is a better coach than Jimbo Fisher.